Okay, so we are popping on with our next speaker. Lila, come on out. Speaking of connection, I really have to thank our next person because she kind of, how should I say, she pushed the envelope on connection with me. And I think it was it 2017, 2018? How many years has it been now?
2017.
2017. So in 2017, we were both being coached by a really fantastic coach down in Florida. We were on a virtual thing, just like we are right here, getting some coaching about accountability partners. And I had 2 monthly accountability partners, both in that program at that particular point. And after the little program, Lila messages me and says, I want to be your accountability partner. I said, well, I already have 2. And she goes, do you meet with them every day, or at least every weekday? And I said, no, I meet with them once a week. And she goes, well, I want to talk to you every weekday. And I thought, really? Is that what you want to do? And you just didn't give up. Right? You just didn't give up. So I agreed to try it. And we literally talked every weekday pretty much for 5.5 years. And we witnessed each other's business growth. We supported each other in amazing ways. We've collaborated. We've taught at each other's retreats. We've created joint retreats. We've sent clients to each other. It has been an unbelievable friendship and relationship. And before she starts and shares, I want to say that, and you don't mind if I share this, I'm sure you don't. We get on one of our first times talking, and it almost makes me cry to say this, but she goes, I'm so afraid I'm going to do something that will ruin our friendship. Like we won't want to be together anymore. How many of you wrecked a friendship before? Like you've done something just like the friendship kind of dissipated, and she didn't want that to happen for us. And so I just looked her straight in the eyes and said, we're just not going to let that happen. We're just not going to, and we held each other to that. And it's just been really, really quite amazing. She's gone through my certification program, so she's now a pressure-free coach as well. And you just gave a speech on pressure-free, I believe. So your first one, which is very exciting. I'm so happy about that. And so Lila, I want you to take away, and I am going to use my bathroom while I pop you in here because I've been going for quite a few hours here. And so take it away and I'll come right back on camera in a moment.
Okay. Thank you, Elle Ingalls. I want to say thank you for this summit, for this conference. And thank you to all the speakers who are here and have been here earlier and will be here later. I love that Elle shared our story. As a reminder, I'm Lila Veronica, and I met Elle, asked her to be my accountability partner. We actually call each other celebration partners now because we like to celebrate and focus more on our wins so that we have more wins. And what I want to say is if you've been watching Elle for a while, or if you're new to her, pay attention because she's a leader. This is a leadership conference, and I recognized a leader pretty quick as a leader my entire life. And I recognize that what she's doing, she's showing up consistently. And that's what leaders have to do, despite being perfect, imperfect, making mistakes. Like Alex was saying, sometimes we do great things, sometimes we make mistakes and learn from them. But she was the only one in this group coaching program, this high-end mastermind we were in, that was consistently showing up like I was. And so that's why I said, hey, I want to be your partner because I see leadership in you. And what's neat, which I'll share more today about, is that what she provides for her community and what I provide for my community really complements each other. So she's learned from me, completely changed her body. I've learned from her, completely changed my mind, body, my life. And we love to support each other together, separate, and send clients to each other because it just goes together really well. So I'm an embodiment coach, and I help leaders, high performers, really embody their worth so that they have a higher level of success. So I just want to go back to what this conference is about and talk a little bit reference what Alex said a minute ago. And then I'm going to show you guys all today actually a whole new way to hold your body. I'm going to show you some dynamic posture today in sitting. I don't often in this kind of event show sitting, but I thought today it would be really valuable. How to sit at your chair, in your car, anywhere, and how to stand and how to walk through space. So when you understand that your mental performance, today is a lot about mental performance. When you understand that your physical body is part of your mental performance, you'll actually understand what I'm going to teach you today. If you think your mental performance is only about your brain, your mind, you're not going to get it. So I just want you to all kind of take a moment, sparkle fingers, I always ask, can you be on board for the next half hour and say, okay, my body, my physical component of myself is actually a big part of my mental performance. I think most people here can agree, especially if you've been working with clients or if you've been an athlete or work with athletes or any high performance, just like Alex said a little bit ago, that body language is a huge component of leadership. And so if you're telling somebody something, like you need to do something, and then you're shaking your head no, it doesn't go together. Like you need to do something better in your life. Like the person's, even if they don't realize it, subconsciously is going to wonder, what are they talking about? If you stand with your hands behind your back all the time, people are going to somehow, some way subconsciously wonder, what are you hiding? And I would offer you, even on camera, if you never show your hands, there's something subconscious in people's mind wondering what your hands are doing. And so the body, we are visual creatures. The body is a huge component of mental performance. The second most watched TED Talk is Amy Cuddy talking about the power pose, how she stands, and most people in leadership, you've seen this or you've heard about it at least, how hands on your hips, stand wide, lots of leaders do this, lots of speakers do this, and it boosts the chemicals in your body that make you feel good and feel confident. And so this conference, mental performance, also boosting your confidence, right? You have to have the body, the action piece, the physical piece to have confidence. I have a lot of clients that will come to me and say, I don't have confidence yet, so I can't do it. And I say, well, I played baseball as a kid, softball, t-ball, all that. And I remember going to the batting cages. And anybody here go to the batting cages ever? Like, I wish we had a batting cage in my little town. I love batting cages. It's been years since I've been to them. But you had to go to the batting cages and let those balls come to you and swing and swing and swing until you got to a point where, number one, you could hit the ball. Number two, you could hit the ball consistently. And number three, you could hit it really well and far and different directions, and depending on how you wanted to hit it. And it wasn't that I was confident before I went to the batting cages. It was that I took the action with my physical form, went to the batting cages, and then the mental confidence came. So we have to take action with the body before the mind is actually going to become confident. You can tell yourself all you want in the mindset work, but it's not going to work unless you take the action. And so the other piece is lowering performance anxiety today. This is what this conference is about. So anxiety is, and being a certified pressure-free coach with Elle Ingalls, it's very clear that anxiety comes from a physical release of chemicals in the body. And so if you can learn what to do in the body, you won't have anxiety. It's not just about the mental component. You have to change your physical form in order to change the anxiety and all of the negative emotions that we have. So I'm going to show you today dynamic posture that boosts your confidence, lowers performance anxiety, increases, up levels the results, and actually creates true mental performance. So I want to share just a teeny little bit about me and where I come from and why am I doing this. And then I'll show you what to do today. Super simple steps with your body. I advise you to do it with me today because it'll make you feel good and it'll boost your confidence today. It'll up-level your results in your day. So why not? So I am a former academic. I used to teach environmental policy at Ohio State University and be in the world of consulting. And I've worked for nonprofits and all sorts of, I spent about 15 years in the environmental science and policy world. And I just was an intellect and I lived from the neck up. I exercised, but I wasn't in my body. I never really thought about like, what is my pinky toe doing? You know, what is my posture like? I just went through life and was very focused on thinking, learning, being smarter and smarter and smarter. And so I love working with the heady types. So if you're the kind of person who's in your head a lot, this is perfect for you. Because what I realized is that I got to a point where my adrenals were burnout and I was extremely unhappy and I couldn't really figure out why. I had high blood pressure. I was about 35 pounds heavier and I was not having the best connections with people. I had lots of friends, but I didn't have those deep relational connections like Alex was talking about. So I got into mind-body work, learning about the way my body felt. And I learned about posture and I learned about movement. And then I found a particular system that helped me pull it all together. And then I created my own modality where I teach super simple posture, standing, walking, sitting, and also movement. I created amazing 10-minute practices because most high performers, number one, say they're too busy. They don't have enough time to move enough. And number two, they don't stay consistent. Maybe they start exercising, changing their body, and then they fall off. And so I've created something that's super simple, 10 minutes a day. You can do it multiple times a day. I know, Elle, you're doing it twice a day now. And the intention is to really just simply bring your mind into your body, reprogram your body into a dynamic shape instead of static, like most of modern day society, and to get yourself moving in a fluid way so that energy can flow through you. I like to say, how you move through the world is how the world moves through you. So if you want the world to move through you in an amazing way, then you need to move through the world in an amazing way. And when I learned this, practiced it, started teaching it, you know, I was able to, within 6 months, get off of blood pressure medication. I was able to build a really successful business and create a lot of joy and vibrancy in my life. And the number one thing people say to me is, I love your energy, Lila. And people will call me like the energy girl. And it's like, I'm not an energy healer or some energy person. I don't even really talk about energy that much, but that is what people gather from when I'm with myself. When I'm in my body, I'm high energy in a grounded way. And so everything is energy. You know, Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. And if you want to boost your energy and have yourself feel grounded, this is a really fantastic way to do it. So I'm actually going to show you guys what I've done. I've actually worked with clients on all 7 continents, even Antarctica, which has been really fun. And I'm going to show you how to sit today, how to stand, and how to walk a little bit so that you can boost your confidence, boost your energy, and reduce performance anxiety. I'm going to move my seat back a little bit here. So what I want you to think about, there's 3 H's. We've got the heart, we got the hips, and we have the head. Heart, hips, head. So if you can remember these 3 pieces today, you'll start to change your posture, change the way you show up in the world. So first, I'm going to show you how to sit, and then I'll show you how to stand and how to walk. Most people think you need to sit on your butt. The butt is actually not meant to be sat on. Right, Elle?
That's right.
So what you want to do is you can lift your butt up, and it might seem weird at first to touch your butt. It's okay. It's yours. It belongs to you. But you want to start sitting on your legs. So if you got to scoot your butt back a little bit, you can pick it up. You can widen it. You want to start sitting on your legs more and not on your butt. Why? Well, think about an animal. When an animal tucks their tail, it's a fear position. Fear creates anxiety. Even if you're not feeling anxious for some reason, you start tucking your tail, it's connected to your mind. And so you're tucking your tail, your body's thinking you're scared. And then you might trigger stress hormones. And you don't even know what's going on. You might tell your body you're scared and you start getting tense. So the more your tail is back, the more you're confident in your life, everything you do. So when you're sitting, you want to start sitting on your hamstrings, your thighs, your thigh bones, and start getting that butt back. Now, most people have a chair and you kind of lean back. Well, this is a position of more fear, tension, and also it's a position of rest. So if you want to be alert and bright in the mind, say you're at a conference, say you're listening right now, you want to be as alert as you can be and focused and present. So sit on your legs and get your hips back and more open. You don't have to always lean back. Sometimes you need to lean back. That's okay. But generally speaking, you don't need to have your back resting against something all day long. It tells your brain that you're in chill mode. If you want to be in awake mode, have more energy, you need to have that back a little bit away from the chair. So that's with your hips. Now your heart, your body needs to lift up with your heart. So your heart is your rib cage, your breath, your life force energy. Instead of keeping it compressed and tight, you want your rib cage energetically lifting. So you want to think about your ribs, actually bring your mind into your body more often. Most people will say we need to live from the heart, but nobody teaches you how. So this is how to live from the heart. Bring your mind into your heart, lift your heart up. And then if you're sitting and say you're working on your computer or you're driving, you want your elbows, your arms to be away from the sides of the heart. Most people are keeping those arms in and then compressing the heart and sitting in a C curve shape. You want to be in a more open, dynamic shape by keeping your heart up, your hips back. And then here's the deal with your head. Heart up, hips back. Lift your head up, and you want your eyes to look out on the horizon more often. So say you're sitting at a computer all day. You want, first of all, your computer to be at eye level, not down here. You're actually losing energy all day long when you tuck your chin. There's lots of monks who will meditate and get their heart rate really, really, really low by just chucking the chin. You want to be not a super high heart rate, but you want to be alert and awake. And then you want to take at least once an hour minimum, take your eyes off the screen, off of the stuff close to you, and look out into the distance. Imagine what you feel like in your body when you look out into the distance at a sunset, a sunrise, the ocean, the mountains, a beautiful prairie. Your body starts to take this feeling of like a big breath, or divine connection, of beauty. And you deserve to feel good in your body. The better you feel, the more attractive you are to others. The better you feel, the healthier you are, and the better you feel, the more confidence you have. So heart up, hips back, and head up, bringing your eyes out onto the horizon more often. So this is the position of sitting. It's the exact same relationship between heart, hips, head as you stand. So let's talk about, say you're standing in line at the grocery store. And, most people stand on one hip or stand both, and maybe, tuck the tail under because you think you need flat abs. What I would say is, number one, become more aware. Awareness is 90% of the work. Become more aware of what you're doing in your body. So you want, same thing, you want your hips to be back a little bit, which means you need to bend your knees a little bit. If your legs are straight, you're cutting off energy flow number one, and you're tucking your tail, and there's more rigidity. And so to be more confident, have more energy, little bend in the knees. If you can wag your tail, you're standing in a dynamic way. So if you're listening now, and you're, even if you're not on camera, but just like Elle is, you know, try it out. See what it feels like when you can wag your tail. So you're standing at the grocery store line, waiting to buy your apples, whatever it is you'd like to eat, and you have a confidence because you're more open. Then you bring your heart and you lift it to the sky. It's real subtle, but you want it to go wide. Go wide to go tall. Don't try to just stand up straight, but stay nice and wide in your collarbones, your shoulder blades, your rib cage, the whole heart space, front heart, back heart, side heart, all of this, heart up. The wider and more lifted your heart, you're definitely going to feel more confident and appear more confident to other people. Anybody you can think of right now who you would consider confident, they stand broad, lifted. They know themselves. They have strong character, like Alex was saying, because you can tell just by the way they're standing. So heart up, hips back with a little bit of a bent knee, and then same thing, get your head in the game. Don't let your head just sit on your shoulders. Literally lift the top of your head gently up and roll your ears back and look out into the horizon. Heart up, hips back, head lifted. So this is how you stand. There's more details in terms of your hands and your feet and your elbows and your neck and everything I could teach you later, but it's super simple to learn heart, hips, head. Now let's talk about walking. Most people walk looking down, especially young people these days with cell phones and all that, right? Walk looking down. What I'm going to say is lead from the heart, literally, physically. Imagine your heart is what is going forward, and then let your hips go side to side. Now, you don't have to go as far as I'm going right now. You don't have to be all crazy, you know, but think about your back needs to have a little bit of mobility laterally. We lose lateral movement as we age. If you think about tribal cultures that aren't as in their head, they're more in their body. They have to be so they don't get eaten by a tiger. They walk a lot more with fluidity in their hips, in their ribs, and even in their head. You'll watch most people walk, and this part of their body, the mid back, low back, it doesn't move at all. And a lot of people have back pain and hip pain. And so I just want to give you this idea that when you walk, you can have dynamic posture. It can boost your confidence. So you walk with your heart up, your hips back, laterally moving side to side, and then letting your head, same thing, lifted. Look out into the horizon. Don't look so close to you. It actually will improve your eyesight as well. If you can start looking more hours of the day, more minutes of the day, more microseconds of the day, out into the distance, it will lift your head. It will actually improve your eyesight. So heart up, hips back so that you can wag your tail and head lifted. So I work with a lot of smart people, high performers, people who know a lot, and yet there's something missing. They're not quite getting what they want. Their results, they're not meeting them. They're like, I'm smart enough. I work hard enough. Why can't I figure this out? So you might have been there before in your own life, and you may know people who have been there. I'm smart enough. I work hard enough. And why can't I figure this out? Well, part of it is because you're trying to figure it out. I've been there before in my own life. Like I said, I used to be in academia, and yet I couldn't quite figure out life fully. And then I found this, and the key to getting results, the key to manifesting your vision, bringing forward what you want faster, is a feeling state. You can know all the strategies, you can know all the tactics, but if you don't embody the vision that you want to go toward, it's not going to happen. There's a little bit of this like energetic static, and you'll end up self-sabotaging, blocking yourself, going into confusion, anxiety, triggering the stress hormones, all of that. When your mind is in your body, you learn how to hold your body in a new way, work with your body in a new way. You don't trigger stress hormones. You have the body of no fear. An open body with lifted heart, hips back, where you wag your tail and your head is lifted. This is a no fear body. And so mental performance is not just about mindset, but it's about mastering the physical component of your life. And so that's what I'm super passionate about, Elle, and I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be one of your students, one of your friends, one of your colleagues, and to meet everybody today. Thank you so much.
It was so great, Lila. We got a couple things. Teg has chimed in here. He goes, my happy place and place to gain clarity is to go to the beach and go out and see out beyond the water. If the sun is rising or setting, even better.
Oof.
He lives in Connecticut. He gets to go right down to the beach there, which is kind of nice.
Can I give a little bit of a response there?
Yeah.
So Teg, what I would do if I were you is, as much as you can, especially when you're in a leadership position, whether you're, working with somebody, speaking, anytime, go to that place. Like, I can feel you now. Like, even when, you said that, it's like, you can feel the feeling of what it looks like out beyond the water at any moment. You can tell your mind that you're there, and you can imagine it and be there. That's the cool thing about being a human. We have imagination. So I would say use that beautiful beyond the water feeling more and more and more and more and more and more and more, as much as you can, and play with it and see what happens. That's what I always say. Like, how do people respond to you? I have a client, Elle, you remember hearing Anna say, she changed her posture. She was at a dinner, and she married somebody recently in the last year and a half. And she was out with all of his friends and people he knew for years. And she was feeling kind of like, a little shy and isolated and didn't know how to interact and stuff. And she just thought, I'm going to do what Lila said, change my body. She just changed her body a little bit, opened that heart up, got a different perspective. And then all of a sudden people started interacting with her, and she was able to talk. And it was like this really cool time that she had. And so what I love about the body language component of leadership is that in one moment you can change yourself, and then everybody around you changes. So I would be curious, if you play with this, Teg, no pressure, but I would be curious, if you play with the beyond the water energy and then see what happens with other people. Do they come up to you? Do they respond to you differently? Do they share something vulnerable? And see what kind of impact you can make with others as you do it in your own self.
That's really cool. As I've incorporated the things that you've taught me, not just for myself, but for my clients. I have a client, he's a salesperson, and his sales skyrocketed after I shared just opening his heart space. That was the biggest thing. We close this off for protection all the time. And so that opening of the heart space was huge. And I grew tall in 8th grade, didn't want to be tall. I was just talking to Val Whiting, the WNBA player. She and I were just reminiscing about we didn't want to be that tall when we were in 8th grade, So what did? We rounded our shoulders. We also didn't want to see anybody here, don't want anybody to know what's going on. So we just hunkered down. And Lila, I think I've gained more than an inch now. I'm 60 and I'm gaining height by working with you. That's amazing. And just how the transformation has happened, and how I am now completely pain-free from a broken vertebrae, hip dysplasia. I'm like a German shepherd having babies. That messed me up. All these things, foot pain that I had for years. You've done that for me. And so I love to bring you on here and introduce you to people because you change people's lives. When we're in pain, we behave certain ways. And when you're pain-free, your nervous system isn't constantly in the pain. Like you can really shine and really, a couple people today have said, we get to shine. And I think about something, a quote, and I don't have it right, but Nelson Mandela mentioned like, our light is meant to shine. Because it's something I believe he said when he was in prison, like no matter what our situation, like our light is meant to shine. And you help people like light up from the inside because we're finally holding our bodies in a way that allows that to happen. So I'm super grateful to you, really am.
Thank you, Elle. I'm really grateful to be here and share.
So we're going to move on. I'm going to stop recording and pop back in again. So we'll